It's Monday morning, October 9th, 2017. I'm Pastor Doug Bronner. I'm the senior pastor at Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and welcome to this edition of the Monday Morning Muses. And today I want to muse about musing. Um, Although it's kind of an interesting day here in Colorado Springs, it's supposed to be snowing. I haven't checked outside recently to see if it's snowing yet. It was supposed to be, and my wife actually had a 2-hour delay, and there was no snow on the ground yet. So we'll see what happens as time moves along. And after I finish this muse, I'll look outside the window and see if it's snowing yet. Holy Cross just finished a teachers conference. We hosted a teachers conference. Our Director of Growth Ministries, Dan Hampton, put it all together. It was a great, not quite 3 days, but 2.5 days of gathering with teachers from the Front Range here in Colorado, from Fort Collins down to Pueblo, Denver here in Colorado Springs. And great to have these teachers, directors of Christian education, and principals who were with us for just a few days. And today, later this morning, we're going to spend some time reflecting on that experience. The staff is, anyway. A lot of planning went into it. And so we want to reflect while it's still fresh, right? You don't want it to wait too long till you reflect on what you've done, because our memories aren't that great. Now, I'm getting older, and my memory isn't great because of that, but all of us have this kind of ability to forget things that we ought to remember that will help us for the future. Why are we going to reflect? Because what's so important about reflecting on this event? I mean, it was a great event. Shouldn't we just celebrate? Well, yeah, we're going to celebrate. But to reflect, we want to make it better next time. There's a chance in a couple of years we'll host something similar to this peak conference. And hopefully, in reflecting on this, we'll make it even a better experience the next time we host it. Now, we could just go on and maybe reinvent the wheel again the next time, but that really doesn't make sense, does it? And that's so often what we do as human beings. Peter Drucker talked about the importance of reflection, of musing, when he wrote, follow effective action with quiet reflection. From the quiet reflection will come even more effective action. Let me read that again, because I think it's pretty powerful stuff. Follow effective action with quiet reflection. From the quiet reflection will come even more effective action. Well, I don't know if we need so much to put effective in there. I think it's an okay word, but I think you could even go even more general to follow action with quiet reflection, and it's going to lead to even more action. So let's talk a second about the danger. There's consequences if we don't reflect, if we don't muse about our lives, right? There's consequences for that. So think of a parent who does not reflect on his or her discipline of that person's child. To not reflect on that discipline may mean that our discipline becomes ineffective over a period of time. We keep thinking that this action that we are doing, this kind of discipline we're giving to our child, is going to produce the results, and even when it doesn't and we don't reflect on it, we're still doing the same thing. It really becomes ineffective. Or politicians. You think of a politician who continues to make decisions in a certain fashion and becomes ineffective, and hopefully that kind of politician is eventually elected out of office because they're not changing, they're not reflecting, they're not realizing why they're making decisions the way they are. Okay, so as a photographer, it fits for me too. And if I don't reflect on my pictures that I'm taking, if I don't reflect on what I'm doing, then my pictures will become boring and I'll become bored. Well, so maybe that's really the issue here. Maybe the real issue about not musing, not reflecting on our lives, is that it leads to boredom. And boredom comes out of a lack of a challenge, doesn't it? Think about your own life. Think about the times when you have been thoroughly bored with what's going on in your life, isn't it because there's no challenge? When we start thinking about things that might make our life a little bit more interesting, but we don't really do anything about it. And so there's this lack of a challenge in life. And so, as many of you know, or maybe even most of you know, I don't know how many of you follow me in my photography, but recently I've challenged myself to start shooting with film again. I mentioned this before. I had my Bronica SQA, and I've shown you the camera and so forth. But I'm challenging myself, and it's difficult. It's not easy. I have to really think about the pictures I'm taking. I went to the Garden of Gods the other day on Friday afternoon, and I only took 9 pictures out there in an hour's worth of time. Where with my digital camera, that would have been at least 50 pictures, if not more if I'm bracketing and so forth. But this is a real challenge. And it doesn't end with that. It's then getting the negatives developed and then scanning them and processing them. It's all different. It's all a challenge. And my next challenge in my photography is going to be developing the film myself. Now, that may be quite a ways down the road, but I'm hoping that I get to do that sometime not too far down the road. And then that leads me to think about our walk in Christ. And I think a lot of us are bored. A lot of us are bored, and we're not reflecting on our life. We're not reflecting on why we're bored. And then with that reflection, we're not challenging ourselves, right? We're not musing about our faith. It's just a kind of rote. We go to church, we go to a Bible study, we go to a home group, or whatever it is we do, and then we never really reflect on it. We never really ask the tough questions of ourselves as how this is affecting my life. And then we don't challenge ourselves to grow deeper in our walk with Christ, to do something different in our walk with Christ. So here's my challenge for you today. Is to reflect on your life. Reflect on your Christian walk, okay, in Christ. Reflect, if you were in worship yesterday, reflect on that experience, okay? Reflect on what you heard, or maybe reflect on the fact that you didn't listen because you were so distracted by other things. And then ask yourself the tough question, well, why was I so distracted? And then challenge yourself maybe for the next time to say, look, it's next Sunday you probably have the same challenges. Why don't I just really work at this, of putting out those distractions and listening to the words I'm singing and to the word that is proclaimed and so forth. There's always something we can challenge ourselves with. And I got a feeling the more we challenge ourselves, the more interesting our life is going to be and the less boring it will be. And we can only challenge ourselves if we muse about our lives, if we reflect on our lives. Anyway, something for you to think about today. Let me know if there was a challenge that you did today and how it affected you. You can leave the comments in the notes in Facebook here to this video. Please feel free to share this video with your family and friends on your Facebook account. Anyway, thanks for being with me today. I hope that you are challenged by this musing about musing. I look forward to being with you in our next Monday Morning Muses.